Hi, this is Carly, and I'm going to be going over a portion of chapter 9. Um, and this PowerPoint is based on the presentation that I did with my group, which included Tom and Kelsey. And I just wanted to touch on a few points that seem to really resonate with me, or I really learned a lot from. And the first one is this idea that we have 5 different things that work together to help us build our knowledge, help us learn how to read and become better readers. So our language knowledge, background knowledge, text structure, decoding, and vocabulary all work together to help us become great readers, as I mentioned previously. And another part that I wanted to discuss was a portion of the chapter called Promoting Literacy. And I just found this part interesting because they talked about 3 different strategies to help students become better readers, because that was something that I always kind of questioned. I've been in a few different classrooms where students are just not good readers, and I kind of grapple with like the idea of like, how can I get them to grow? What are some strategies? Because I've noticed if I just give them a book and tell them to read, most likely they're going to just sit there, right? Or read a couple pages or something like that. So the first one is guided reading. So this is when the teacher introduces and invites predictions. And I've learned in other classes as well, like great ways to do this by giving them prompts, by giving them guided reading in the form of like pre-reading, and then the first read, the second read, and giving them tasks to do with tasks to interact with the text to help them understand it a little bit more. Students reading out loud. It's the next part, or silently, and the teacher just circulates as a check for understanding to make sure students are reading, but also just to answer any questions. And lastly, inviting responses and discussing strategies. So this is done in small groups. It's important that the material is in just a little bit challenging, or just like right where what they know, and giving them room to grow and to learn. It's great because it's an ongoing assessment. You provide individual support and assistance, and it really helps to learn how to discuss literary elements, because this is a skill. This isn't something that we're born just knowing how to do. Like, how do you discuss the theme? How do you understand what plot really entails? And so those are things that we can work on. Response groups is another small group activity, and that's what I noticed, that a lot of this has to do with small groups and not just one-on-one support. And this is something that you prepare students over time. And one way that you can create a scaffold is by providing response sheets. And this is great for ELs because, again, they become familiar with how to discuss literature, and they can extend their interpretations or grow their understanding through drawing, through rewriting the story, through making a video, reader's theater, anything of that sort. And lastly, independent reading, which is more like at what it sounds like, independent reading. So students are just reading on their own, but I've seen that this is really valuable, even if in the beginning they don't seem to be very interested. But I think when you use independent reading in conjunction with the other 2 that I was discussing, students arrive to the point where they like reading, or they can read better. So when they find a material that they find interesting and is age appropriate or reading level appropriate, then that material can really help build vocab, background knowledge, and reading skills. And I've been in different classrooms where I've seen this happen. And a lot of times students who don't take the time to read 20 to 30 minutes a day at home. So giving them that time as a teacher is very valuable. And one last thing that I found very interesting is this 5-finger exercise. And just as a check for understanding, asking students how many words they didn't understand. And if it 5 or more, then the text is too difficult for them. So those are just a couple points that I really liked, and I think I will definitely be using in the future. This was overall a great chapter, and I enjoyed it.